Imagine stepping onto a movie set full of hope, only to walk away shattered, vowing never to share the screen with that person again. In 1979, a young actress, still bleeding from the freshest wound life can give, showed up to film one of the most heartbreaking dramas of the decade. What happened over the next few months was kept locked inside her for almost 40 years. It wasn't just intense acting. It was a slap that left a mark you can still see in the finished movie, a wine glass smashed inches from her face, and one whispered name, her dead lover's name, hissed into her ear the second before the cameras rolled so her tears would look real. This is the story of why one of the greatest actresses alive still refuses to say his name without pain in her eyes. She grew up in a quiet New Jersey town where creativity lived in the kitchen. Sketches her mother left drying on the counter, and in the gentle permission her parents gave their kids to chase whatever lit them up. From the age of 12, she rode the train into the city for voice lessons with a legendary teacher, learning how to make coloratura fireworks soar. But opera felt like singing in a language her heart didn't speak. She wanted life, noise, boys, football games, the rush of being alive. So she quit, and in that quitting she learned the rule that would guide her forever. Never fake a feeling you can't find inside yourself. High school turned her into the golden girl, cheerleader, homecoming queen, the pretty blonde everyone assumed had it easy. Only her closest friends knew she still felt awkward on the inside, too tall, frizzy-haired, hiding behind glasses and cigarettes. Yet something shifted when she stepped on a stage. The shy kid vanished. She could become anyone. By the time she reached an all-women's college upstate, professors were telling her she was wasting her looks. On acting, she shot back by throwing herself into 40 productions in 4 years, learning 27 different vocal placements, recording strangers in diners just to steal the music of their speech. Grad school was brutal. 40 more plays, 4 hours of sleep, chain smoking in costume closets, dropping weight from pure exhaustion. She once played a soldier so convincingly that the audience gasped when she took her final bow as a woman. When she finally hit the New York theater world, she waitressed until sunrise, rehearsed through thunderstorms in Central Park, and never let anyone see her sweat. Broadway followed, then tiny film roles that made directors sit up and whisper, "Who is that?" Then love arrived, fierce and fast. An actor with dangerous eyes and a laugh that lit up rooms. They moved in together, dreamed out loud, and 6 months later he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She took every job she could near him, paid his medical bills with her own checks, threatened to quit entire movies if producers tried to fire him because he was dying. She held him when he weighed less than she did. When he slipped away, something inside her went quiet for days. She read a sonnet at his funeral and then locked the pain away because the world still demanded she show up. If this story is already cutting you deep, please share it. Someone out there needs to hear they're allowed to carry their grief and still build something unbreakable. 6 months later, she married a kind sculptor who helped her pack up the apartment that still smelled like her lost love. They would go on to have 4 children, a steady life, a safe place to land. But in the spring of 1979, she was still raw, walking onto the set of a small custody drama that would change everything. He was already a legend by then. A man who had crawled out of real poverty, subway benches, stolen loaves of bread, relentless rejection. He'd turned every ounce of childhood shame into rocket fuel, becoming the face of a generation almost by accident. Critics called him fearless. Co-stars called him exhausting. He stayed in character for months, refused to sleep, ran miles before takes, kept stones in his shoes to remember a limp, once stayed awake 72 hours because his character was supposed to look wrecked. Sir Laurence Olivier finally told him, "My dear boy, have you tried acting? It's far less painful." He never did. Pain was the point. When the two of them were cast opposite each other, the air on set crackled with tension from day one. He rewrote pages overnight, demanded real apartments instead of sets, improvised so wildly that other actors couldn't keep up. One actress was bullied off the film entirely after he mocked her line readings until she broke. Then he turned his focus to her. Second day of shooting, first major scene. No warning. His hand cracked across her face hard enough to leave a print. The camera kept rolling. The mark stayed in the movie. Later, in a restaurant scene, he grabbed a wine glass and smashed it against the wall so violently that shards rained into her hair. She never flinched, finished the take, then quietly asked him to give her a heads up next time someone was going to risk blinding her. But the worst came in court. Moments before her close-up, he leaned down behind her chair and breathed a single word, her dead fiancé's name. The tears that welled up were real. The camera loved them. She felt violated down to her bones. She fought back the only way she knew. Yu Hao, rewriting her courtroom speech herself, pouring every drop of abandoned wife, grieving woman truth into it until the words burned. He tried to cut half of it, told her she was too emotional. She kept the lines. The movie kept the slap, the glass, the tears he forced out of her like blood. When the film swept the Oscars, he won Best Actor and made a bizarre joke about his statue having no genitals. She won Best Supporting Actress, thanked the director, and never once said his name. For 39 years, she stayed silent about what really happened. She simply refused every project he was attached to and built the most decorated career in history, 21 nominations, 3 wins, roles that ripped your heart out and handed it back stronger. She proved you don't need cruelty to reach the truth. Then the world changed. Women started speaking. Old stories resurfaced. Young interns, co-stars, women from decades ago finally said the things they'd buried. And in a quiet 2018 interview, she finally spoke too. Soft voice, steady eyes. It was my first big movie. He just slapped me, and I thought, this is the job now? This is what we accept? She never screamed. She never needed to. Her life, her work, her refusal to ever stand on the same set with him again, that was the loudest answer of all. Some wounds don't show on the outside. Some battles are won just by keeping your soul intact and walking forward. She did both. And every time you watch her disappear into a role and come back out shining, remember the price she paid to learn that brilliance doesn't need brutality to be real. If this moved you, if it made you angry, if it made you proud of her, hit like, subscribe, and share this story. The more we talk about what should never have been tolerated, the less space there is for it to happen again. Thank you for listening, Kyun.